What's up YouTube, Capital G here, got some more new format action for you guys to check out. This time we are rocking with the Crusaders, and this is going to be one hell of an uphill battle because his opponent is going to make an incredibly strong turn one board. This is how you gotta play through multiple disruptions and really just negations. His opponent is kind of going to open the nuts here. You can see he's playing Pendulum Magicians. Even though he has 5 cards, basically you might as well just say it's 6 because he's got that Pot of Desires, and you know, Crusadia doesn't really have anything. He kind of has these cards that are more so for like when your opponent has already established their board. Hey Trunade can be effective against decks like Altergeist, especially against something like Sky Striker, because if they have I think it's what's it called, Area Zero, and they reset all their cards, if you Hey Trunade them they get banished and they really can't respond. Also, I guess this would be super good against Sky Striker because if you kaiju them they can't activate the cards anyways. Let's go ahead and break down the duel. And actually, you know what, before we do that, big shout outs to my boy Heat Leo. He sent me this duel in 3 completely different formats, 2 of which I could not use at all, and he kept trying to send me this duel. He's like, come on Cap, put me on the channel. I'm like, dude, the duel's good, I just need it in a form where I can actually like spectate it. Just send me the replay file. And luckily, because he's been trying to, you know, get me to do this duel for a few days now, there's no firewall dragon or anything like that. Otherwise I would have had to scrap it and I would have felt kind of bad. Anyways, let's go ahead and roll it. Now, you can see that pins are up first. Almost certainly you're going to see Electromite hit the board with no opposition. He doesn't have anything to stop him, and his opponent is also playing the Mythical Beast engine, which is bad because, well, it's bad for, you know, Crusadia because it just basically presents like another disruption for the opponent. If you can get Jackal on field, as you see he does, he did activate a spell card. Jackal should be getting a couple of counters fairly soon, and well, I think he's, yeah, when he activates that second pendulum scale there, goes for the absolute dragon, gets him the vortex dragon, and then goes for my homeboy Naruto, or Naruto. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna call him Naruto. Maybe kind of looks like Naruto a little bit. Maybe that was what it was based on, who actually knows. But you can see that this is an incredibly strong board because you basically have 3 negations here. You've got the monster negation, you have spell and trap negation with the Naruto, and then you've got you know, once again, monster, spell, or trap negation here with the Odd Eyes Vortex. And it's actually one of these type negation boards where you kind of got to break through this full line, right? Like if you don't get through all 3 of these monsters, these guys are just going to reset again. I mean, keep in mind, as soon as he activates another spell card, this guy gets a couple of counters and he's basically online. The Naruto has a couple of a couple of Exceed materials, so he'll get another negate, and then this guy just refreshes every turn anyway. So it's going to be difficult. And when I saw this hand, I was like, man, I don't know if this is the hand to do it, because hey Trunade not really looking so live here. But can he do it? We'll find out. He does have the kaiju that gets rid of the vortex dragon. Naruto's going to go ahead and take the hornet drones. Luckily, you know, Crusadia are a deck that can instantly go straight into a Link 1 monster, very much like Salamangreats, which he named himself after. And this is really good. He is going to do some chain blocking here to try to, you know, get his opponent to potentially negate like the wrong card. And luckily, because he has one of the Crusadias in the graveyard that gives him protection, he doesn't actually lose his monster. And Crusadia, once you get a couple of monsters on board, you can one-shot your opponents. You're going to see it here. This is crazy. He didn't even have to go for the Link 3. Now his attack is super high because he's linked up with the kaiju. The kaiju cheese in Crusadia is actually just dumb because not only do you get the kaiju your opponent, but then you gain so much attack, and usually what you'll do is attack the kaiju last. By the way, he has double battle damage too, so he's gonna be able to just completely kill his opponent. He didn't attack the kaiju last, but I guess it was like one of those where I don't really need it. But I actually just realized right now why kaijus are just so ridiculously dumb in the Crusadia deck, because not only are you taking out one of your opponent's monsters, but then you're giving your monster a massive attack, and again, because of the field spell, he can attack all his opponent's monsters. So generally, you know, some crazy hypothetical situation where even if you're in a tag duel, your opponent may have like 10,000 life points or something like that, plus he could just attack the game missile last, boom boom, attack these 2 for massive damage, and then come across and kill the game missile last. So just a nice little epic duel. I honestly didn't think he'd be able to get through it, especially considering the Hey Trunade wasn't even used. So he just, I guess technically, well, he had 1 card. Did he do it with like 4 cards then? Because I mean, the Hey Trunade wasn't used and the Hornet drones got negated. So yeah, technically this was done with 4 cards, making it even more impressive. Anyways, you know what? Let's pause for one quick second and look at the deck. All right, so this is what the deck looks like on paper. Man, I am loving the simplicity here. No engages, interesting enough. I guess he's just relying on hard drawing the copy of Hornet Jones, even though it is a limited card. You know what's really interesting, right? I was talking about this in the in one of the other duels that I recorded with Cyber Dragons against Performa Pals. I kind of feel like decks like this, Cyber Dragons and Crusadia, I would probably lump together. They're very similar. I feel like decks like this can see a big resurgence in the new format, right? Because these are decks that would prefer for you to actually just create the extra link rather than them try to use hand traps to stop the extra link, because they're better at just breaking the extra link when it's established and then trying to one-shot you, as opposed to, you know, just like hand trap or whatever. But if making the extra links right now in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are going to be like way less consistent because of Firewall, decks like these, in my opinion, get an indirect boost, you know what I mean? Like if now people are just going to be able to go for a couple of link monsters and they don't have to worry about even or hand traps are becoming maybe a little less effective, this type of style just becomes better. This go second and, you know, either kaiju your opponents like link monster or just, you know, break the extra link with a Cyber Dragon into Mega Fleet Dragon. I feel like the playstyle becomes a little better overall. So I don't know, maybe you know, Crusadia will see a nice little resurgence and play. What is this card? This is one that I'm not actually familiar with. I'm not really used to seeing traps. I get Red Reboot. It's, you know, it's a trap, but it's like not a trap that you're really going to set on the field. You're not going first with this deck. Special summon this card as an effect monster. Okay, so it's an Earth 2. If this special summon to a zone a link monster points to, you can add one World Legacy card from your deck to your hand. Interesting. It'd be better if this card like activated as something like the Phantom Knights of Brigadine, where you could just like activate it from your hand or activate it in the same turn that it's set. I don't know. This card it's just jarring seeing trap cards being ran in Crusadia, but you know, trap cards that are kind of slow. Again, this is kind of like a hand trap, so I kind of get it. I like the instant fusion in here. I feel like people are learning about this because of the Sky Striker matchup. This is actually one of the best things going second against Sky Strikers, because Sky Strikers are a deck that they can't extra link, right? So what you do against Sky Strikers is you just activate an instant fusion, you summon Thousand Eyes Restrict, and you just suck up the monster, and you know, it basically just gets them to use their it gets them to use their like Widow Anchor or whatever. If they do use their Widow Anchor, then you can just, you know, convert your dude into like a Link Karibo or something like that. And when you suck their monster up with Thousand Eyes Restrict, it doesn't actually, like, the monster is not the you know, the Sky Striker, Hayate or Shizuku or whatever, Kagari. They're not actually sent to the graveyard by a card effect, so they won't actually trigger the Get the Ray in the graveyard. So just a one card out for Sky Strikers that actually kind of cuts off their chain, or it just forces out their negation. So nice little concept there. I would have liked to see maybe a Link Karibo in here as the kind of backup for the Thousand Eyes Restrict. Little interesting that he runs Millennium Eyes, or I don't know, maybe find something in here to cut. But I definitely would run a Link Karibo.